it's Ryan. Welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. This week we are cooking out of Taste of Home's Fall of 2020 magazine. For those of you that are new here, my name is Ryan. I am a full-time working mom. I have a 9-month-old son, and my husband and I live here in the suburbs of Chicago. On my channel, you can find a What's for Dinner video every Wednesday. You can also find grocery hauls, baking videos, and general content around the life of a full-time working mom who loves to spend time in the kitchen. As I mentioned in today's video, we are cooking out of Taste of Home's Fall of 2020 magazine. It's sort of like a magazine cookbook hybrid. You can typically find them in grocery stores around this time of year or seasonally. It's a little bit more than their normal magazine, but a little bit less than a cookbook. But I will tell you guys, I love Taste of Home magazine. It is the most simple, basic magazine, but it's put together from recipes by home cooks like me. And if I'm looking for a week that I just want simple recipes with, not a ton of ingredients, not a really elaborate cooking method, this is one of my go-tos. I will say, as a full-time working mom who likes to have dinner on the table in less than 30 minutes, this is definitely one of my staples. So this week we are going to be making 3 different dinners. We're actually going to be making the cover recipe, these pizza rolls. This is the reason that my husband actually pointed this magazine out and we picked it up. He wanted to try these, wanted to have me try these pizza roll recipes. So we will be cooking that. We will be cooking a maple chicken with acorn squash, and then we will be cooking a buffalo chicken recipe. All 3 are super simple. This is probably going to be the shortest What's for Dinner video ever on my channel, but I think they're great recipes and I'm excited to have an easy week in the kitchen and to show you guys. All right, let me go ahead and show you what we're cooking tonight, which is the maple chicken and acorn squash recipe. Let me show you the recipe as well as the ingredients you'll need to make it. Okay, here is the Fall Recipes Taste of Home magazine that I was telling you guys about. And here's the actual recipe we're cooking tonight. It's this maple roasted chicken with acorn squash recipe. All right, and here is what you guys are going to need to cook it. If you can believe it, this is it. For the vegetables, you're going to do like a pan roast. This is a 1-pan dinner. You need carrots, onions, as well as an acorn squash. And fun fact, these were all actually grown in a community garden in northern Wisconsin that my mom belongs to and we like to help out with. So all of these are organic and homegrown, and I'm sure that will make them taste extra delicious. You also need chicken. The recipe calls for bone-in chicken thighs. We actually could not find those in our stores, so we have a bone-in chicken breast, which is going to alter the cook time a little bit. I think this will need to cook longer than the recipe said because the recipe calls for chicken thighs. But I prefer white meat anyway, so this is fine for me. And then for seasonings, all you're going to need is salt and pepper and some maple syrup. And I actually got a kick out of, my husband picked this up, and it is Wisconsin Northwoods maple syrup, and these vegetables were grown in the Northwoods of Wisconsin. So I feel like we've got a Northwoods theme dinner going on here. And then alongside that, I'm going to serve some pumpkin muffins. I had these just in the freezer left over from a batch I made the other day. So I will serve those alongside. I'm not sure, I haven't decided yet. I also actually have zucchini bread in the freezer. I may thaw that and do a slice of that as well, just to kind of bulk up this dinner, particularly for my husband. I probably could get away with just the bake and maybe a pumpkin muffin, but I do want to make sure my husband has enough to eat. So, all right, I will go ahead and show you guys turning this into a delicious looking fall dinner. Okay, the first thing I did for this recipe was to get my chicken breasts into the oven. I added some olive oil and salt and pepper to these and got them roasting in a 400-degree oven for 30 minutes. The recipe wants you to cook the vegetables and the chicken at the same time, but the recipe also called for chicken thighs, and these breasts were obviously much bigger than that. So I got the breasts into the oven for 30 minutes and listened to some good old-fashioned Whitney Houston, Wanna Dance with Somebody. While the chicken was cooking, I started to prep my vegetables. The first thing I did was peel and chop all of my carrots.
Next up, I prepared my onions. You want to chop these up so that they are cut into about 1-inch pieces. The recipe called for 1 medium onion. I had several 3 here small onions, and I felt like this would equal about 1 medium onion, maybe a little tiny bit more. Next up, I was going to prepare the squash. You want to start by washing this and then cutting it in half lengthwise and scraping out the seeds. Next up, you're going to cut these in pieces crosswise, so you end up with sort of disc or half moon shaped pieces. Make sure your knife is very sharp for this. Squash is notoriously a little bit difficult to cook. I then got the chicken out of the oven after it had cooked for 30 minutes. I placed all of my vegetables into the bottom of the pan and then topped it with the chicken. The first time I roasted it skin side down. The second time I roasted it skin side up. After putting the chicken and the vegetables in the pan, I added a half a cup of maple syrup. I also added some salt and pepper to the top of this, and then I got it back into the oven to roast for another 25 to 30 minutes or until the chicken was done. After that, I pulled this out, and as I mentioned before, I served this alongside some pumpkin muffins and zucchini bread. Overall, we absolutely love this recipe. My husband devoured the chicken and actually even ate some of the vegetables, which is sort of a win for me. I loved the squash. I thought it turned out so tender and had great flavor from that maple sauce. I will 100% be making this again, and it actually was so quick and easy to put together.
Hey guys, welcome back to another night of this week's What's for Dinner. Tonight we are going to be making pizza rolls. This is actually the cover recipe of the Taste of Home fall magazine / cookbook that we're cooking out of this week, and it's what caught my husband's eye when we decided we wanted to pick up this magazine at a grocery store checkout. So I'm really excited about this. I know he is as well. I hope they turn out well. So let me go ahead and show you guys the recipe and the ingredients you're going to need for this one. I will say this recipe is more showing you guys like a method as opposed to an actual recipe. You could use anything you want in these pizza rolls, anything you would normally put on a pizza. We're going to keep it pretty simple tonight and just do cheese and pepperoni, but let me go ahead and show you guys and then we'll get started on this recipe. Okay, as I mentioned, here is the Taste of Home Fall Recipes, and here is the cover recipe that we are making tonight. It is this cheesy pizza rolls cover recipe, and here is the actual recipe. So this is it. This is the total ingredients you guys are going to need. As I mentioned though, you can tailor this to whatever sorts of cheese or pizza toppings you want, but you're going to need some form of refrigerated pizza crust. I just picked up this Pillsbury crust because it was easy. I grabbed a thing of mozzarella cheese, some Parmesan cheese. Geez, this could be a craft ad. Some turkey pepperoni. The recipe calls for both pepperoni and Italian sausage, so if that's your jam, go ahead and cook that up and add that as well. And then you'll need some sort of pizza sauce. I'm just going to use this Rao's, I think that's how you pronounce it, marinara. We love this sauce. I know Rao's actually does make a pizza sauce as well, so you could use that, but whatever you happen to have on hand can go inside these. As I said, this is more of a method as opposed to a particular recipe. So we'll go ahead and show you how you make it. Feel free to substitute in whatever ingredients you want, and let's get moving.
Alright guys, to get started on this one, we are going to lightly flour a surface and roll out your refrigerated pizza dough to 16 by 10 inch rectangle. As I mentioned earlier, this recipe is so simple. It is truly more of like a method and an inspiration than an actual technical recipe for you guys to follow. As I mentioned earlier, put in whatever toppings you desire: Italian sausage, regular pepperoni, different kinds of cheeses, veggies. I mean, the sky's the limit on this one. So definitely make these your own. So anyway, after rolling out the pizza crust, we added a half a cup of pasta sauce. You're going to want to leave about a 1/2 inch border around the edge of the crust so that the fillings don't spill out when you roll them. We then went ahead and added some turkey pepperoni to this. As you can see here, my husband is generously adding turkey pepperoni, and I would actually recommend that you do this because there's so much dough involved. You want to make sure you have generous toppings. Next up, we added a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese as well as some grated Parmesan, and just sprinkled those over the top of the sauce and pepperoni we had already put down. Once you have finished your toppings, you're going to want to roll this up. Roll it from the long-edged jelly roll style, or like you're rolling cinnamon rolls. Obviously do this as tight as you can and try to make it as even as possible. Once you're done, pinch the seams to make sure they don't come apart. Then you're going to want to chop these into 8 slices and put them into an 8-inch round cast iron skillet that you've sprayed with some cooking spray. Then get these into a 400-degree oven for 25 to 30 minutes and you're done. Here's what these looked like out of the oven. They were cooked to perfection and they had a great flavor. I love this. I think we had 3 apiece for dinner. My husband did say it felt more like an appetizer to him. So if we make them again as a dinner, I would serve some sort of protein alongside them instead of just the vegetable or salad we served tonight.
Hey guys, it's Ryan. Welcome back to another night of this week's What's for Dinner. As you know, this week we are cooking out of Taste of Home's Fall of 2020 magazine. Tonight we are going to be making a super simple baked buffalo chicken recipe, and alongside that I'm going to be serving some pre-prepared mashed potatoes and frozen broccoli. So let me go ahead and show you guys the recipe and the ingredients for this super simple dinner. As you guys know, this is the Fall Recipes Taste of Home we're cooking out of, and here is the recipe. It's this baked buffalo chicken. Okay, so these are the ingredients you're going to need. I mean, this is literally it. You're going to need chicken, pepper, and some tarragon. And then you will need some kind of buffalo sauce. I am using this Salty Dog. Let's see if it'll focus. The Salty Dog buffalo sauce. This is from the Salty Dog in Hilton Head, South Carolina, where we go on vacation, and we love their buffalo sauce. We actually order it online if we can't get down there to pick it up, which we can't currently. So I have a couple of those to use in this. You need some all-purpose flour and some panko breadcrumbs. So that is it for the chicken recipe. It looks like it's going to be super simple and will come together very quickly. So this will be an easy weeknight dinner, which I'm a huge fan of. And then to go alongside that, as I mentioned, I'm just going to be serving some pre-prepared mashed potatoes. We got Bob Evans this week, as well as some steamed broccoli. So let's go ahead and get this turned into dinner.
The first thing you're going to want to do is marinate your chicken. You're going to pour 1/3 of the cup of buffalo sauce into a pan or a bowl here with the chicken, toss it to coat, and then place this in the refrigerator for 15 minutes or up to 24 hours. Next up, you want to prepare your breading stations. You want to put 1 1/4 cup panko breadcrumbs in a dish. In another dish, you want to put 3/4 cup all-purpose flour, 3/4 cup dried tarragon, and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. And then in the final dish, you want to put the remaining 1/2 cup of buffalo sauce. Here, my husband is breading the chicken. First, you want to dunk it in the flour and coat it, then the buffalo sauce, and then the panko breadcrumbs. You're then going to want to put that on a greased with cooking spray baking sheet and get these chicken breasts into the oven that you've preheated to 400 degrees and bake them for 25 to 30 minutes until the chicken is cooked through. I plated this up, as I mentioned before, with some frozen broccoli as well as some prepared mashed potatoes. My husband and I both loved this chicken recipe. We've tried a lot of buffalo chicken recipes over the years, and this was our favorite so far. It was very flavorful, very moist still, and we will definitely be making this again if we want to do anything with buffalo. If you guys enjoyed, please go ahead and subscribe for a new What's for Dinner video that I put out every Wednesday afternoon. See you soon!